All right, let's just jump right in. We're here to talk about a huge, almost unbelievable shift in what it takes to start a business. Seriously, forget everything you thought you knew about needing big money to get started, because AI is basically tearing up the old rulebook. I mean, just look at these numbers. It's kind of nuts. Just a few years back, in 2020, you needed a pretty serious pile of cash. We're talking 350 grand just to get a software company off the ground. For engineers, marketing, all that stuff. But now, we're looking at just $12,000 a year. That's not a price drop, it's a whole new world. And this right here, this 95% number, that really tells the whole story. This isn't some small tweak. This has completely opened the floodgates for entrepreneurship. The barrier to entry has pretty much crumbled, meaning almost anyone with a good idea and a laptop can now give it a shot. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with this amazing idea of the $12,000 company. Then we'll dive into the AI toolkit that makes it all happen. After that, a little reality check, because it's not all easy. We'll talk about the human edge, where things are headed, and finally, what the new playbook for success really looks like. So the big question is, how on earth is this even possible? Well, it's not just that software got a little cheaper. The real game changer, the reason for that massive 95% drop, is that AI is stepping in to do the work that used to be the single biggest cost for any startup, paying people salaries. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this actually work in practice? It all comes down to the tools, this AI-powered toolkit. You can almost think of it as your new C-suite, except, it's all just software subscriptions. Okay, now this is where it gets really mind-blowing. This table just lays it all out. Think about it. Entire departments, coding, design, marketing, all these roles that you used to have to hire full-time people for are now just a handful of cheap monthly subscriptions. A coding assistant to help you write software, $20. A world-class graphic designer with Midjourney, $45. It's absolutely insane. So when you add it all up, what are we talking about here? Well, you could get a basic setup running for under $1,000 a year, or you can go all in with the full stack for under $6,000. I mean, that's less than what you'd pay a single developer for 1 month just a few years ago. This is the new economics of starting up. Okay, but it's not all a walk in the park. Having cheap tools is one thing, but that doesn't automatically mean you're going to succeed. So let's get real for a minute and talk about the grind. And this timeline is something every single solopreneur needs to understand. For the first few months, you're just burning cash. Money's going out, absolutely nothing is coming in. Then maybe around month 4, you start to see your first few sales trickle in. But getting to a point where you're actually profitable, that can take a long time. This period is exactly why you need a rock-solid plan for how you're actually going to make money from day one. And yeah, this is where so many people crash and burn. It is so easy to fall in love with the cool new tech. You build this amazing thing, but you totally forget to ask that one simple, crucial question. Does anyone actually need this enough to pay me for it? That's the trap, right? Building a solution for a problem that doesn't exist, or thinking the AI itself is the product. Spoiler alert, it's not. And finding customers is a whole different ballgame now, too. That $12,000 budget, it has $0 for ads. Instead, the strategy is to build in public. That just means you're marketing from day one by sharing your journey, the wins, the bugs, the whole messy process out in the open. You build a community, you build trust. It costs you nothing in dollars, but let me tell you, it costs a lot in your time and effort. Which brings us to the most critical piece of this entire puzzle. The one thing you can't download, you can't subscribe to, you can't automate. And that's the human edge. So, to really get this, you have to understand there are two kinds of knowledge. First, there's explicit knowledge. Think of it as know what. It's stuff you can write down in a manual. Facts, procedures, you can easily feed this to an AI. But then there's tacit knowledge. This is the know-how. It's that gut feeling, that intuition, that strategic wisdom you only get from being in the trenches for years. You can't write it down, and you sure can't feed it to a machine. And hey, the economic data backs this up completely. A study from the Dallas Fed found that AI is hitting entry-level jobs pretty hard, all that routine, explicit work. But for experienced pros, it's actually making them more valuable. Their wages are going up. Why? Because their tacit know-how is the one thing AI can't replicate. Your experience has literally never been a bigger asset. So, where is all of this headed? What's the future for the one-person business? Well, we're already seeing it move way beyond just making simple little products. Look, the old way of selling an ebook or a video course, that's kind of over. AI can spit that stuff out for free now. The real action is in creating interactive learning experiences. So instead of selling a book, you package all your hard-earned wisdom, your tacit knowledge into an AI coach, something that gives people personalized advice in real time. You're not selling static information anymore. You're selling a scalable, interactive version of you. But there's a catch. Even if you build the most amazing AI-powered business all by yourself, you eventually hit a very human wall. We're not built to do everything alone. We need other people. And it brings up this really deep question, perfectly captured by this quote from a CEO. A single person can't be happy alone. And that really makes you think, doesn't it? If one person with a laptop can do the work of a small company, then what's a company even for anymore? Why would you ever hire a second person? Well, the answer isn't that companies are going away. Not at all. It's that the reason they exist is fundamentally changing. It's all about finding a new kind of competitive edge. And this right here is basically the new playbook. You give all the grunt work, all that explicit stuff, data analysis, first drafts, scheduling, to the AI. That's its job now. And that frees up your brain power for the stuff only a human can do. Building real relationships, coming up with truly creative solutions, and making those tough judgment calls. So the new reason to hire someone isn't just, I'm too busy. No. You hire strategically to do more of the human stuff. You hire to scale your customer relationships. You hire to get another creative brain in the room to innovate faster. You hire someone to help you carry the weight of the big decisions. You're hiring for that tacit knowledge and human connection, not just to get more tasks done. So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. AI isn't here to replace you. It's here to empower you, to free you from the boring stuff so you can focus on the work that truly matters. The rules of the game have totally changed, and that leaves you with one simple question to think about. What's one task you can hand off to AI tomorrow to free yourself up for something more important?